Howdy howdy, Naughty here, and today we're going to do yet another new thing. Of course, this is something I've wanted to do for quite a while.
I'm going to put death on trial and prove beyond the shadow of a doubt that he's evil. That he's not just doing his job as so many people have said before. Specifically, death from Puss in Boots' The Last Wish. We're going to start by defining our terms, Your Honor. What is death as a concept? To put it simply, it's the unfeeling force of nature. The finale to all things. It's the end from which no one can return. It doesn't care for anyone or for anything. One may mock it all they want, but death will simply wait, and it will collect its dues remorselessly when one's time comes. And everyone's time comes at some point. How does one define evil? I would likely say that evil as a term can be defined as anything performed by a sentient being that could be immoral, unjust, or otherwise truly wicked in its actions. What does this have to do with the Wolfman? It's simple. The job of death is to wait until one's time is up and collect their souls, or to help them move on, or whatever descriptor you wish to use for the process of dying. For some examples of this, there are iterations which do in fact just do their jobs. There's the lamb and wolf from League of Legends. The lamb which waits and guides those who die with grace, and the wolf who gives chase to those that refuse it. For something I know more about, there's also death from the comic and the show Sandman, a woman who waits until one's time and then simply brings those who've died to rest, granting them comfort before passing them on. Your Honor, there are iterations who simply serve to do their purpose, nothing more and nothing less. Death from Puss in Boots does not just do his job in the time we see him, though. He stalks Puss. He even fights Puss on multiple occasions. He torments and thrives on making sure Puss fears the very thought of him. Our poor, friendly little feline. Now, before I start getting boos from the jury, I should say what I've heard countless times, especially since I know what makes y'all cheer. He's just teaching a lesson. Puss asked for it. He's just doing his job. Of course, if I may, Your Honor, I'm going to debunk these 3 points in order of weakest. He's just doing his job. Naturally, I spoke on this point earlier, so I will make this as short as I can. Death isn't just waiting for some unfortunate accident to take place. He actively goes out to torment Puss. He brings direct harm to our feline friend. And before anyone says anything, there's an interesting line of dialogue during the cave scene of the movie.
I'm still alive.
You know, I'm not a cat person. I find the very idea of 9 lives absurd. And you didn't value any of them. So, why don't I do us both a favor and take this last one now?
That's kidding.
Shh, don't tell.
Now, I don't mean this metaphorically or rhetorically, or poetically or theoretically, or in any other fantasy way. He's evil, straight up. He acknowledges in the scene that he's going above and beyond at the very least, which means he's not just doing his job. Next, Your Honor, we have the argument, Puss asked for it. Men and women of the jury, honorable judge of the internet, I'd like to know something. How old is everyone here? I've heard this argument far too much. Are we perhaps on some sort of school ground? Was death perhaps double, no, triple dog dared to scare the heavenly bejesus out of Puss every opportunity he got? Even if we give death the benefit of the doubt and say that Puss literally asked for it, why would a neutral force of nature respond by literally sending our friendly feline into a panic attack and actively take joy in ensuring Puss fears him? A neutral one would not, Your Honor. And I suppose that leads to the final point I'd like to debunk. If to save everyone some time, if nothing else. He's just teaching a lesson. Is that right? Well, let's see. After their final battle, Death says, and I quote, actually, I won't quote this, Your Honor. My Spanish sounds like someone trying to read the wrong instructions on a microwave burrito and passing that as expertise. Instead, I will quote the translation. Why the hell did I play with my food? This does show us that he tormented Puss because of his arrogance, yes, but it does also show that he took so much pleasure, he accidentally pushed it back and delayed his intentions to cut Puss's time early as punishment. He did not intend to teach any sort of lesson, ladies and gentlemen, for anyone who thinks so gives this villainous canine far too much credit. But let's give him the benefit of the doubt. What's the lesson he's trying to teach, ladies and gentlemen? Well, I'm no genius on autonomy or analysis, but if I had to guess, I'd think it to be something along the lines of, I'm scary, and I'm here to cut you down. What kind of lesson is that, folks? One that teaches you to fear death instead of embracing it as a fact of life. I'm not sure that's a lesson worth teaching. Not that he wanted to teach one anyway.
Objection! If Death truly intended on killing Puss, why didn't he show up at the old lady's house during all the time that passed?
Ha! Ain't it obvious? Think about all the times he did show up. Death crept every time, taking a soul beforehand. On the streets outside of Jack's home, that poor woman was turned to gold. On the battlefield in the cave, people are dying left and right, mostly Jack's men. Does this imply that the bartender died after walking off screen? It'd certainly explain why he didn't come back. In the Cave of Lost Souls, more than likely his domain. It is called the Cave of Lost Souls for a reason, I'd imagine. People probably dying there all the time, getting lost, all that. And even if that weren't the case, let's say it's not his domain, or he can't just pop up in there whenever he so desired, despite it being the Cave of Lost Souls, something that sounds like his domain. At this point, he was already cheating enough. I'm sure a bit more rule-bending wouldn't bother him any. And for those wondering why he waited until the finale of the movie to show up and kill Puss, or battle him, or whatever word you wish to use, I would imagine that's simply because where's the fun in not waiting until the finale, right as your prey is getting what it wants, right as your prey is at the end, right as your prey is about to make that wish that it's been chasing for the whole time. There's some fun in waiting, let me tell y'all, but that is besides the point. Now, I shall go ahead and leave you with my closing arguments, and summarize my various points. He does more than his job. He torments Puss, and doesn't try teaching the cat any old thing. His intentions were clearly to kill him. Despite what those that simp for him may say, he is without a doubt absolutely evil. Thank you for allowing me to speak and listening to my arguments. I've wanted to get this out for a long time. Now, judge and jury, I hope you all come to the right decision.
And I also hope everyone sleeps well. You're no longer being greeted, and duty calls.